Good morning. Welcome to P&B Sports Show. I'm Arokotom. Well, it seems the UEFA Champions League semi-finals is going to start today, and we have 4 teams from 4 different countries in the UEFA Champions League semi-finals. We have Arsenal from England, we have PSG Paris Saint-Germain from France, we have Barca from Spain, and we have Inter Milan from Italy. So our first match is today, the 29th of April 2025, and it's going to be between Arsenal and Paris Saint-Germain. And for this, we're going to be having a renowned sports analyst, Ero John, all the way from Benin, and he's going to be giving us in-depth analysis on what he thinks about these matches and how he feels that these teams are going to approach these matches. But before then, we're going to go on a short break, and when we come back, we're going to continue our analysis. So sit tight, grab your teacup, because P&B Sports starts now. Okay, so welcome back to P&B Sports Show. Like I said earlier, we have a renowned sports analyst, Mr. Ero John. Mr. Ero John, how are you doing today?
Good morning, Mr. Tom. Thank you once again for having me. I'm very good over here, although the weather is a bit cold, but I'm very fine. And I hope you are good too. Thank you once again for having me.
Yes. Well, many thanks from P&B as well for coming on our show. It's always a pleasure having you on our show. And the weather here is cold as well. Mr. Ero, we have 4 teams from 4 different countries. We have Arsenal, we have PSG, we have Barcelona, and we have Inter Milan in the semi-finals of the UEFA Champions League. What is your opinion on these 4 teams that have made it to the semi-finals of the UEFA Champions League?
Okay, my opinion on the 4 teams that have made it to the semi-final is simple. I think they are the best 4 teams, or the 4 best teams so far in the competition, because it's because of how well they have played that they have gotten to this level and stage that they are in now. If you check them in their respective leagues, the 4 teams that you have just mentioned, they are doing so well. They are top placed. Aside that is second in the Premier League. Inter Milan is having a hot social with Napoli in the Italian league. Barcelona is topping the league, as well as PSG is topping their league also. So they are at the top of their game, the 4 teams. They have done so well. They have convinced us that they deserve a place in the semi-final, which they are in right now. So I really think that they have done so well, and they have earned whatever position they are in today. Yeah.
Okay. So some would say that Arsenal being in the second place in the Premier League is not a bad one at all, because they are in a very good position in the Premier League, and a lot of teams are fighting for that particular position. So what is your opinion on Arsenal's standing right now in the Premier League?
Apart from the fact that I will always nickname them the Butlers FC, that's because they had a chance at being at the top of the league. But nevertheless, being second position out of 20 teams, that's a fair one. In fact, that is more than fair. The league started on the same day. Everybody started the league together. It is there are teams that have relegated already. You see, so them being in second position is fair. It's very fair. It shows that they have done so well. The team that is on at the top of the league, that have eventually won the league now, Liverpool, is another very wonderful team. They've done so well, and that's why they are top of the league, that they've won the league. So Arsenal has not done badly so far, except for the fact that they had chances of being top of the league and probably would have won the league already by now, but they bottled it as usual. That's peculiar to them. They are butlers. So that's the banter though. But aside that, they have done so well for themselves. As a matter of fact, they have cemented their place in second position. I don't see any team coming to overtake them in that second position. So they have done so well. I give them credit and kudos. I mean, there are 19 other teams that could have been second position, but not at all. They are the ones on second position. So they have done so well for themselves.
Okay, okay, lovely, lovely. Bringing Arsenal back to the UEFA Champions League semi-finals, we saw that they had a 5-1 aggregate win against Real Madrid, and some would say that they performed very well. Not even some, I think all will say that they performed exceptionally well. So what do you think about this? Do you think it will affect their performance against PSG? Do you think that it will give them the right confidence that they need to face the Paris side?
Okay. Some time ago on this show, I said something. I said football is psychological. Football to me, because I play football, I coach. Football is 70% psychological. Football is first a game of the mind than with your legs. That's why you see in some pre-match conferences, you see coaches, captains, and players playing mind games with their opponents because they understand the importance of psychology in football. They understand how well it affects the game and the tempo. So Arsenal going into the final against PSG with a 5-1 aggregate win over Real Madrid, a well-dictated team when it comes to Champions League. We has obviously given them a major psychological boost. It their ability to dominate big European sides. You understand? They played so well. In fact, they outplayed Real Madrid in the first and the second leg. So going into the semi-final, they now see themselves as giants, which they actually are. You cannot take that away from them. It gives them all the necessary boost and confidence that they need. And then this first leg encounter, it will be at the Emirates. The Arsenal has been a fortress in their home soil. Have been a fortress in their home soil. So going into this match, into this semi-final encounter, they are going all out. They are going in with all the confidence that they can get, because the truth is this: a larger percentage of us did not see Arsenal edging Real Madrid in the quarterfinals. Even when they won the first leg by 3-0, so many people were saying a comeback is imminent. A comeback is imminent. Even Real Madrid players, the likes of Jude Bellingham, Remontada, they were all out for a comeback. But guess what? They lost the second leg to the same Arsenal at their home soil. So Arsenal already has this confidence built in them. There's already this psychological boost in the Arsenal camp going into the semi-final that if we can defeat Real Madrid, we can defeat PSG. And that's it. That's it for them going into this match.
Okay, okay. Well, we have a video of Arsenal players being asked what the atmosphere is like in the locker room. Please, can you pull up that video for our viewers?
Morning, Martin. How are you? How's it going? Just using one word, how would you sum up the feeling in the camp right now ahead of tomorrow?
Ready. Amazing. Excitement.
Question time. How would you sum up the feeling in the changing room now ahead of tomorrow?
I'll say focused.
Perfect.
Ready, man. Focused. Special.
Okay. So now we are moving back to PSG. PSG, Mr. Aero, is a team that has beaten the likes of Liverpool and Aston Villa, which are actually powerhouses in football today. And it seems like they are extremely confident in their pursuit of the Champions League race, What is your opinion, and how do you expect them to move into these semi-finals today?
Okay, thank you very much for that. Like you rightly said, Mr. Tom, PSG's approach going into this semi-final, after defeating the likes of Liverpool and also Aston Villa, that means they've eliminated 2 Premier League teams already, and now they are going to be facing a third. Like I said earlier, football is very psychological. That also will give them a boost. We have defeated Aston Villa. We have defeated the champions of England, Liverpool. We can defeat Arsenal. That should be the situation in the dressing room for Luis Enrique and his players. We have done this against 2 English teams. We can do it the third. Arsenal, on the other hand, we don't want it to happen to them being the third. So PSG going into this semi-final are also going with a high morale. They are also going there with this confidence that if we can defeat Liverpool, if we can defeat Aston Villa, which are also top English Premier League teams, we can also defeat Arsenal. We can defeat Arsenal. And PSG has navigated a tough knockout path with maturity. If you have been watching their games, the balanced flair with tactical discipline. So against Arsenal, they will likely opt for a more compact play and possession. They will likely opt for a more, because the truth is, I don't expect PSG to come out with a high press against an Arsenal side, especially at the Emirates today. I expect that they will play more compact, they will play a more possessed game, and they will try to exploit spaces that will be left by Arsenal's overlapping fullbacks. So that's what I think about PSG going into this encounter. It's really going to be, the match is going to be a movie. I'll call it a movie.
I agree with you on that one. But PSG's performance, some will say that in their own league, that they have not been consistent. And Arsenal have proven to actually be somewhat consistent, apart from some time when they were supposed to move to the top of the English Premier League table. So what is your take when measuring both performances of in both their indigenous leagues?
Okay, well, concerning that, I'll say this. You see, when it comes to domestic leagues, you may not want to completely agree with me, but it has its own different momentum. When it comes to European football, there is a completely different momentum. When it comes to European football also, because these are two separate competitions. These are two separate atmospheres. You meet different teams. In the Premier League, for example, let me take Arsenal for example. To a large extent, they already know that deep underlying in their heart, we cannot win the league anymore. All we want to do is secure second position. But then in the Champions League, they know that this is a knockout phase. If you don't win, you are out. You don't win, you are out. But in the league, there's always a next game. There is always a next game. In the Champions League, there is not always a next game. So I don't want to judge PSG going by their performance in their domestic league over time. If I was to judge them by that, I don't think they will be playing in the semi-finals today. You understand? So I think the momentum in the Champions League is way different, and PSG has a few experienced players when it comes to European competitions like this. The likes of Marquinhos, the likes of Dembele, the likes of what's his name, the likes of their goalkeeper Donnarumma. They have a few experienced players when it comes to competitions like this, and it will also serve as an edge for them. It will also play a role for them going into the semi-final. So I'm not going to judge them by their domestic league performances. The last time Chelsea won the Champions League, Chelsea were not top 3 in the Premier League. They were not even top 4. I think they were 5th in the Premier League the last time they won it. The first time Chelsea won the Premier League and Champions League under Roberto Di Matteo, they were 6th. They finished 6th in the Premier League. So the Champions League has a completely different momentum. It has a completely different atmosphere. I will say it has a completely different spirit from a domestic league. Thank you.
Okay. Now, Mikel Arteta has given some updates on Michael Merino, who has been used subsequently and in times past as a makeshift striker and an attacker. How do you think Mikel Arteta will be able to fit him into this lineup?
Okay. Going into the game today, I can't completely place if Merino will be playing as a striker or will be playing as a midfielder. That's because Thomas Partey may miss the game. I think Thomas Partey will miss the game. If Thomas Partey will miss the game, that means Merino may play as a midfielder and Trossard will come in. But if Partey is to play the game, then Merino will go back to the position he played in the quarterfinals. But in answering your question, Merino being used as a striker for Arsenal, if you have been watching closely, he brings this flair that I'm sorry to bring this in, that Nicholas Jackson brings to the Chelsea side. Merino has a very good ball winning ability and forward progression. He knows how to, because he is not an elite striker, because he is not a target man. He knows how to draw players to himself and open the play for the likes of Bukayo Saka, for the likes of Odegaard, for the likes of Martinelli. And that's one thing that has been key for them. That's one thing that threw the likes of Rudiger off guard in the quarterfinals, because this man is not a target man. So you don't always find him in the box all the time to mark. He pulls you out. He has a ball winning ability and a forward. He knows how to play football in a forward progression. So he brings on this ability to open the play, and that's one thing that I think he will bring on going into these semi-finals against PSG, because PSG is also an attacking side. PSG is also an attacking side. They play a pressing football also, although they can be compact at some point. So playing Merino in the attack today, we actually give them the same kind of flair that he gave them against Real Madrid. He will know how to place himself. He will know how to win balls. He will know how to play with his teammates. He will know how to make forward progressions. He will know how to make forward runs. He will know how to open play for the wingers and even the midfielders to advance, because he is actually a midfielder. So he knows how to create those spaces and open those spaces for other players to thrive, even if he is not the target man.
Okay, so talking about PSG being an attacking side, PSG has the likes of Ousmane Dembele leading their attack. And we have an Arsenal side that we expect to also go out, but still play a little bit conservatively today. So how do you expect Arsenal's defense to handle the likes of Ousmane Dembele on the PSG side?
Okay. Well, the bulk of the work for me will lie with the central defenders, because Arsenal plays Arsenal's tactics allow their fullbacks to overlap. And trust me, PSG plays a very fast football. The likes of Dembele, the likes of I always don't know how to pronounce his name, Kvaratskhelia, or what's his name? The likes of they are very fast. They are very, very fast. So I think the only thing Arsenal has to do today is the fact that the central defenders will have to be on red alert. Because what I expect today from the game, I expect Arsenal to play more of the pressing because of their home soil, and I expect PSG to be more compact and conservative. I expect PSG to rather play a counter-attacking tactics today. Let's try to win the ball and let's counter, because we have very fast players. If you can put the ball on the run from Dembele, you expect something productive. If you can put the ball on the run for Dure, you expect something productive. So I expect PSG to want to exploit that weakness that Arsenal always allow their fullbacks to overlap. And that's one thing they will target on. If PSG targets the spaces behind the likes of Ben White and Lewis, they can actually make out something from there. They can capitalize on the pace of Ousmane Dembele. They can capitalize on the sharp cuttings of the man that I cannot pronounce his name, Kvaratskhelia, and they can pose a serious threat to the Arsenal side. Arsenal's defense, on the other hand, I just expect that they should be able to mark out the likes of Dembele from the game.
Okay.
They should be able to mark out the likes of Dembele. If they can take out the likes of Dembele from the game, the PSG will still pose a threat, but it will be minimal.
Okay.
It will be minimal.
Okay. So initially you spoke about fast players, fast attack from PSG, and we have amazing players like Bukayo Saka on the Arsenal side. And Saka, I think he had 19 goals, if I'm correct, in like 17 matches. And what is your opinion on Bukayo Saka's form? And what should we be expecting from Bukayo Saka in this matchup?
Bukayo Saka, to me, will be the highlight of the day. he will be a handful for Nuno Mendes going into this match. Because Saka, like you said, is another very fast player. He has pace. He has a perfect dribbling. He has these good cuttings. So I don't think Nuno Mendes can even handle Saka. He will need assistance. They will either have to make one of their wingers a defensive winger who will always cut back to assist to mark, or the likes of Vitina will mark wide. They will play wide. They will play the defensive midfield, but they will always shift to the flanks because Saka can be very dangerous. Saka is in top form right now. Real Madrid can testify to that. Saka can be very dangerous. Saka poses a whole lot of threats because why I love Saka so much is this. Even if Saka does not score, Saka creates a lot of chances. He creates a whole lot of chances. So going into this game, Nuno Mendes is sure to have a very busy day at the office today. He's sure to have a busy day at the office. But I expect Luis Enrique to be smart enough to know that he will need assistance in trying to mark out Bukayo Saka. Martinelli, on the other hand, is another very fast player. The only problem I have with Martinelli is that Martinelli is easy to mark because he is quite predictable. Unlike Saka, you that is even watching, you can predict the next move that Martinelli will make. So if I that is watching can predict him, I expect the person marking him to be able to know that okay, this is where he's going next. But you can't predict Saka because when you think Saka will shoot, Saka will make a square. When you think Saka will make a square, Saka will play a calling shot. So players like that are smart and fast thinkers, they are very difficult to curtail. So Saka today plays a very vital role. I believe the kind of dominance that Declan Rice had in the quarterfinals, he will not have it today. And my reason is this: just as Arsenal boasts with the likes of Declan Rice and Thomas Partey and Odegaard, PSG has a very solid midfield also. The likes of Ditina, the likes of Joao Neves. So it's going to be tit for tat when it comes to the midfield play. So I think the bulk of the work today will lie with the attackers and their brilliance.
Okay. Talking about attackers and brilliance and players' brilliance, who do you think will be the gem under the stone today? That player that people are not really talking about, but will make a significant impact in today's match on both sides.
Okay, for Arsenal, like I said, I see Merino because at some point in the game, like I said, because of his ability to win balls and create spaces, I see Merino thriving today. For the PSG side, you may be shocked, but I see Vitina doing a lot of damages today because that's one brilliant midfielder that I respect him so much.
I was having a conversation with someone yesterday, and he mentioned Vitina as well. And honestly, I didn't really have the same opinion with him. But I think now that you're mentioning it, I think he's someone that we should watch out for today in the midfield.
If you have been watching PSG games, you know that Vitina is the heart of the Luis Enrique's tactics is built around Vitina. Vitina is the unsung hero. He's just like a Rodri of Manchester City. Many of us did not see his importance until he got injured. Many of us did not understand the role he was playing until he got injured. Even with the likes of Bernardo Silva still in the team, we saw how useless the team became. That's Vitina for PSG for you. Everything is built on him. It's built around him. Vitina dictates the play for PSG. We say now that PSG plays a very fast game. They play counter-attacking press. They play high press. It starts with Vitina. When you watch the game today, you understand. It starts with Vitina. Vitina begins the build-up. Vitina dictates the pace of the game. So I see Vitina today thriving for PSG because we are already looking with a long lens at the likes of Dembele. So Arsenal will surely make plans that let's take this guy out. For PSG, let's take Saka out. Let's try to take Saka out. That's why I said Merino, because I don't really believe Martinelli's style of play. He's a good player, but I don't really fancy his kind of play because, like I said, he's very predictable. So I expect Hakimi to be able to put him in his pockets
Okay.
to be able to put Martinelli in his pocket.
Okay.
But Vitinha is one hell of a player I respect so much. I won't even lie.
Okay. So talking about putting players and teams in their pockets, Arsenal has been a strong set piece playing side, and this is a side that PSG actually lacks a lot in. So do you think that Arsenal will be able to put PSG in their pocket with the abilities that they have with set pieces?
Yes, completely. Completely. Arsenal has a set piece strength. At the time, we were calling Arsenal set piece FC. Go and ask Manchester United what they suffered in the heart of Arsenal. So Arsenal is very strong when it comes to set piece, and PSG is very vulnerable when it comes to set pieces. The likes of Gabriel Saliba, the likes of Declan Rice, they offer this aerial dominance. They offer area dominance. You see, and it's a strength for them. And now Declan Rice has even discovered the talent that he's a very good free kick taker. So, so it will be a big work for PSG. And I think what Arteta will do today, Arteta will look to overload the near post and isolate the weak markers in PSG. That's what I expect from him. So today I think we should expect a choreographed routine to test Donnarumma when he's under pressure. When I mean a choreographed routine, we should expect to see that for every corner kick, for every long free kick, it will take a certain pattern, as they did against Manchester United. You see that they can play 8 corners, and the 8 corners will be met by Arsenal players. And you begin to ask yourself, are there not Manchester United defenders here in this team? There are, but it is a strength, and for the other team, it is a vulnerability. So today, as a matter of fact, I expect Arsenal to score a goal from the set piece today.
Okay, that's lovely. I actually do take your word on Arsenal scoring a set piece, and when they do it, I'm going to call you. I'll be like, it's like you are a predictor of football. So
I expect that from Arsenal.
What is your opinion on Arsenal and PSG's defense? What should we be expecting from PSG and Arsenal based on your own analysis?
Okay. Arsenal's pressing. Arsenal plays a pressing kind of ball, and like I said before, because they are on home soil, I expect them to go all out. You know, these days there's no longer the away goal rule, so it is the goal you score that help you. Because I am very certain that when they go to France, it will be one hell of an encounter. So when Arsenal plays today, I expect Arsenal to go all out. But defensively, they may be punished if they are not careful, because PSG plays a deep block counter. They play a deep block counter strategy, and once PSG is able to counter you, the ball gets to the likes of Dembele, the ball gets to the likes of Due. They will punish you for it. They will punish you because those guys are in top form this season. The other player that I cannot always pronounce his name, they are in top form this season for PSG. They are deadly. They don't miss their chances, and I expect Arsenal to know that the game today will not be like the game against the game against Real Madrid. I also expect that Arteta would have gone to watch the game between Aston Villa and PSG to also know how to capitalize on their weaknesses, to also know how to.
You mean Aston Villa and Liverpool?
Yes, exactly. The game between Aston Villa. So he will know how to capitalize on. Okay, this is a loophole. So what I expect from the game today, Arsenal will go all out. Defensively, PSG just need to try to mark out the likes of Saka. If they fail to, they will be severely punished. But I expect the experience of Marquinhos to play a key role in the PSG defense. Then for the Arsenal defense, they need to be watchful. They really need to be watchful because all the fullbacks overlap all the time, and Dembele is faster than any player on the Arsenal defense line. He's faster than any player on the Arsenal defense line. And Kulusevski, sorry, I cannot always pronounce his name, has this very good cutting, just like Bukayo Saka. So it will be tit for tat again. Once again, it will be tit for tat.
Okay. The PSG side has had a lot more Champions League semi-final experience than Arsenal, and it seems to be part of their heritage. So with an Arsenal side that has not had that much experience, and coming from the Premier League where the PSG side had actually won, as in utterly defeated the Liverpool and the Aston Villa side, do you think that this experience and the heritage that the PSG side has been able to build over time, that they'll be able to make it an advantage for them against an Arsenal side?
Yes, completely. Football sometimes. Experience matters in football. Experience does matter in football. Go and check many of the games that Real Madrid did the comebacks, even in previous Champions League that they won. It was the experience that won them the game. It wasn't really what they were playing. Because the other team was, I can remember the match they played against Chelsea when Timo Werner was still at Chelsea, that they won on extra time. Experience won them the game because Chelsea outplayed them. But the moment the likes of Luka Modric came in, you would tell that an experienced player is on the pitch. It took him just one sublime pass to win the game for them. So experience matters. Like I mentioned this earlier, PSG have veterans like the likes of Marquinhos, the likes of Donnarumma, and even Dembele. They have played on this level before, so they know the high stakes that Champions League games feels like. They know what it entails to play on this level. So they can mount that kind of pressure going into this game, coupled with the fact that they are, like you said, they have defeated 2 Premier League teams coming into the semi-final. So that gives them a certain momentum. It gives them a certain leverage. Like, yes, we can. We can do this. Well, some of our players have played on this level. Before. At Arsenal side, they barely have a player that has played in the Champions League semi-final before. We can do this. But Arsenal in response has this momentum and fearlessness, especially after beating Real Madrid home and away. Real Madrid are like the owners of the UEFA Champions League, if that's the word. So after beating Real Madrid, they have this momentum and fearlessness, and because they are playing at home, so I feel that could match PSG's experience for Arsenal.
Okay.
The fact that are coming into the semi-final with a momentum psychologically, and then they are at home. The home fans will also give in their support, chanting and shouting from the sides. That will also help them. But PSG have the needed experience, and it will play a factor. You will see it in the game. It will certainly play a role. You cannot take away experience from football.
I agree with you. It's difficult to take experience from football. You know, sometimes when skill cannot take you far, it's experience that does take you far. But looking at the both teams, PSG and Arsenal, what is your prediction on their line-up? What do you think their lineup is going to be, and what type of football do you think both sides are going to play today? Okay,
Arsenal will maintain their 4-3-3 formation. PSG will maintain their 4-3-3 formation. Arsenal, I expect Arsenal to present the exact lineup that played Real Madrid. If you remember, when I was on this show after the first leg, I said something going into the second leg, that if Arteta can maintain the formation he used in the first leg to play the second leg, that Arsenal will qualify, if you remember. And that happened.
Yes, I agree.
Because going into the game, like I said, I expect him to maintain that formation. The only change, I'm not so sure yet, but I think I saw somewhere that Thomas Partey may miss the game. Except Thomas Partey miss the game. That may be the only change that I expect from Arsenal or from Mikel Arteta. That may be the only change that I expect from him. Aside that, I expect the formation to be maintained. Because the game will be, it will solely be the game of who dominates the midfield the most. Because the likes of Odegaard is very powerful. Thomas Partey is very powerful. I said Odegaard, sorry, Declan Rice, very powerful player. Thomas Partey, very powerful. Odegaard has a brilliant vision. Going into the PSG midfield, Vitinha is very powerful and has a great vision also. So they can match each other. Unlike the game against Real Madrid that Arsenal played, especially the first leg, where you saw the likes of Luka Modric starting the game. That's one thing that kills them. You don't expect Luka Modric is too old. He cannot mark. He cannot meet the pace of Declan Rice and Thomas Partey, they are very energetic and younger. He is now old. You bring in players like that when the game gets too difficult. When you had the likes of Tchouaméni and Kamavinga, that's what killed the game for them in the first leg. And you saw that it took Luka Modric off in the second half. So I expect Arsenal to maintain a 4-3-3 formation, and I expect Arsenal to play a high press. I expect them to play a high press, the usual high line, overlapping fullbacks, play on the wings. They always know how to capitalize on the wings. Martinelli and Bukayo Saka. For PSG, I expect a 4-3-3 formation also. I expect the likes of Vitinha, Neves in the midfield, Dembele heading and leading the attack. But I don't expect PSG to play a high press.
Why
Because
so?
this is Arsenal's home. Yes, I expect PSG to play more compact and conservative. PSG will play on the counter-attacking side. That's my prediction. I expect them to play counter-attacking football. Let's try to win the ball and counter, win the ball and counter, win the ball and counter. That's what I expect from PSG going into this match.
Okay. What do you think? It's PSG, it's Arsenal. What are your predictions? What are your goal predictions? And how do you think these goals will come?
Okay. First, I expect PSG to score a goal. I expect PSG to get a goal. And I think the goal will come from, for me, they will get the goal from a counter attack. From a loose ball, a loose counter, they'll get that goal. But I expect, deep down, somewhere in my heart, I expect Arsenal to win the game 2-1.
Okay.
I expect a 2-1 win. And like I said, I expect a goal to come from a set piece for Arsenal.
Okay. That's lovely. So very quickly, tomorrow we're also going to be having a Barca Inter Milan matchup. The people will call it Spanish and an Italian matchup. What is your opinion quickly, and what do you think is going to happen?
Okay, lately Inter Milan has been declining in their domestic league, but because I said something earlier that the momentum in your domestic league is different from the momentum in your Champions League, that game is even going to be more intense than PSG Inter Milan. That's because both teams have the experience. Barcelona has the experience; they played on this level before. They've won the Champions League before. Inter Milan has the experience. In fact, this Inter Milan team, many of the players played a final recently against the Manchester City that they lost. So going into the semi-final for both teams is going to be deadly also. And this Inter Milan side, they have this certain level of brilliance. There's a way they play football that is very amazing to me. Unlike the Inter Milan that we used to know, that is all rough and counter-attacking. This Inter Milan side, they know how to play football. They know how to play compact. They know how to play as a unit. But as usual, I expect Barcelona to edge them because the likes of Rafinha, the likes of Yamal rather, they are deadly. They are deadly wingers. I don't know where they are from. They are deadly wingers. You can see Lewandowski has not been in the team for a while now, and it does not look like Lewandowski is not in the team. That's a deadly team. It does not look like Lewandowski is not on the team. That's a deadly. Ferran Torres is scoring. They are creating chances. They are doing damages. I expect that match to be a festival of goals also from both sides.
Okay. So sports analyst Erojon, many thanks from P&B Sports Show for coming on our show and ever being loyal to your sports analyst job here on P&B. Thank you very much, my lovely viewers. My name is Aroko Tom, and that will be all for today on P&B Sports Show.